and good afternoon. This is Gilroy Madrid, and I'm here in the Technology Center at Fort Stockton ISD. This is the second meeting, federal programs meeting that we are having. The first one we had on Tuesday, like at 10 in the morning. No, lunchtime, sorry. And then this one is in the afternoon. And then we'll have one more on Saturday morning around 10 from the same place. So I'm not sure if everybody's out there, but I'm going to say hello. All is well. Okay. So there's a few of you out there. I noticed there's about 8 viewers. And so today we're going to have, like I said, the second meeting of the federal programs required meetings by law, as well as a career and technology portion that is a part of that as well. So I'm going to go ahead and start so that way we can do this. Thank you for those of you who are here in the technology building. Thank you very much. Make sure you sign in. First thing I want to do is I'm going to share my screen with you. There is a Padlet. There is a link on the website or on our main page of our website, plus in Twitter and in Facebook. And I'm going to go ahead and put that same Padlet there, the link. There's a few things that I'm going to need you to do if you can. So I'm going to switch your screen, and you're going to see my screen, and we'll be good. Okay. All right. Hopefully you can see my screen. Right here, I put a link in the Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter stream. I believe that's a link that is a sign-in sheet. Well, it's a Padlet, and in that Padlet, there's a sign-in sheet. So if you click on that, you'll come to this. You just sign in. All right. There's a place if you have any comments, anything you want to say or ask. There's also a career and technology survey that we were asking people to fill out, and on that survey, fill that out. It'll be great. This next link here is links to the live feeds, whether it's Facebook or YouTube. And this other part is the resources that go along with the career and technology information that I am going to talk about. And then there's some questions and comments that somebody had early sent a comment, probably from between the last meeting we had and today. So I will address that here at the end as well. So that being said, here is our PowerPoint. Again, this is the second meeting we've had. We have these every year. And so again, this purpose of the meeting is to discuss federal programs, career and technology. I'm trying to get there we go. Let's switch this over. My computer's acting a little different today. I'm switching screens around. There we go. That's better. Somebody was asking me if I could show who I was. So there I am. Okay, so this is the information. We are in the technology building here at Fort Stockton ISD, 1204 West 2nd. If you want to watch it on live, of course, you may be watching it already. That's the information there. This information was in the newspaper as well on our website, Facebook, and Twitter pages as well. This is a link to the Padlet that I showed you a minute ago that had that information of what is on the in this PowerPoint that I'm going through. So you're more than welcome to click on that or scan that with your phone. Some people, I don't know how you can do that, but it's on the news. It's in the newspaper as well, but there's a QR code to that Padlet. Again, this is a requirement for federal programs. We receive federal money from the government to provide help with students in instruction and their academics and their learning, and so we do that. And so part of that is we have these meetings in the federal programs. Title I Part A program. The whole idea is to improve student academics, and the whole idea is that students have to learn. They have to do their very best, and so a lot of that money that we get from the federal government is to help with that. There's parts to that federal title program called a parent-student compact, and that just basically says what parents have a right to in the schools, and how they have the rights to decisions relating to the education of their children. their specific child. So the parent compact is located in every handbook, whether it's elementary, middle school, or high school, or intermediate school. It is in there. You can always ask your campus if you want the handbook printed out. We can get you one. So if you do want one, you're more than welcome to have one. The other part is we have these plans in place. They're campus improvement plans, district improvement plans, plans in place, which are basically the blueprints for how do we improve schools, how do we improve star scores. As crazy as it sounds, those are the rules that we play by. Is we have to improve star scores, and then how we get that extra help for students, and how we spend money wisely in the school district to be able to get the biggest bang for our buck when it comes to educating children, uh, young adults as well. And then the other part is just to make sure that we have our parents and family engaged in all the things that we do, and that parents and family members, students, business members, community members are part of that planning process that we do every year. This next part just describes that in the information is in the handbooks, which is on our website as well, which describes the role for parents. And then the elementary campuses, there is a requirement under this law that says elementary campuses must have a parent-teacher conference with every parent. And so we do that at the beginning of the year, right after the first report cards come out. The elementary campuses do a wonderful job of contacting all those parents and having a one-on-one parent conference with their teachers. And so that doesn't mean that the other campuses don't do that. The other campuses do that as well. A lot of times that's done. You can always have a parent conference with your teacher, your child's teacher or principal. You just have to call the school and let them know that you want to meet with them. So again, the whole policy and compact addresses parent and family engagement. Basically means we have to have flexible meetings such as this one. We have to engage parents with activities. We have to talk about curriculum. Curriculum is what we teach. The assessment is how we test what we teach. And then the instruction part, we have to all have that part of the compact and let parents and teachers know, parents and students know, and the community what we have to do in schools. People always ask, why do you have to teach a Pythagorean theorem, or why do you have to teach a food webs? We're never going to use that. The crazy thing, just like almost anything that we do in schools, there's a law in place that says this is what schools do. And if you look up what kids have to learn in school, there are actually laws that say they have to learn these things, and they're called TEKS, the Texas Essential Knowledge and Skills. And so all that information is in law that says we have to teach kids these things. So that's why we teach the Pythagorean theorem, which just sticks in my head. And so does food webs and other things like that, or how to diagram a sentence, what have you. So this next thing, we describe how to, the school and parent compact is a written agreement, how we improve student learning with curriculum and instruction. Curriculum is, like I said, the things we have to teach. Instruction is the actual teaching of those things. And then how we support children with their learning, how we communicate that with parents, and how we just get parents involved in the lives of their young adults and children who are learning in our schools. The curriculum is all assessed through basically the STAR tests and the EOCs. EOCs are the end of course exams, which are part of the high school program. And so that is, there's 5 of them: Algebra 1, English 2, Biology, and U.S. History. And then when it comes to the STAR tests, those actually start in the 3rd grade. They go 3rd through 8th, and you have math and reading. And then there's a science and social studies tests that are 1 or 2 that are spread out maybe in 5th and in the 8th grade. And then we have other things that we have to think about. We have to think about the STAR testing calendar, the school calendar, things like that we come up with to figure out what is the best that we can do for kids during the school year. The meetings are designed to inform parents, inform the community, how we make decisions with educating our children. We use social media a lot to help convey a lot of things that we're going out there. Plus, we use School Messenger a lot to let parents know what's going on. Sometimes there's some parents that have let me know, like, man, that's just a lot of stuff. You're telling us, and we try to do the very best that we can to communicate a lot of things from schools, because we do appreciate the support of our parents and our community members for our schools. So thank you very much. Then there is another part that we have to talk about, and it just says we have to reserve a certain amount of money for parent and family engagement. And so it's about 1% of a set aside. So that money we do set aside for parent and family engagement, and we use it to supplement we have a parent liaison, Mrs. Stella Costas, who does an amazing job of working with our parents and helping them out with things that sometimes we don't think about. And so she does an amazing job with that. She's a retired principal who does an amazing job with our community and our students and our families who just might need some extra help with something that they maybe feel embarrassed to go to school and talk about. So she does that. And thank you, Mrs. Costas, for all you do. Then the other part of this is the teacher qualifications. Schools are required to notify parents by request the qualifications of their teacher. And then, of course, you just have to follow the procedures, and that means you just call the school and let them know. There's a website as well that you can do that. As I just thought about it, I may put that website here next time so people can know where to go to. And then the parents have the right to know which teacher does not meet the applicable state certification requirements, and we mail those home at the beginning of the school year. The thing about it is, they're just like anything else. There's a teacher shortage in America, and so in Texas, to be a certified teacher, you have to take some tests, you have to go through extra training and things like that. And once they realized there was a problem with that route, they created non-traditional routes where somebody could graduate from college and then they can go through a alternative certification program. And once they complete that program and they test and they become certified, we do have a lot of our staff members who are in alternative certification programs, which allows them to teach in the schools. And I will tell you, just like anything else, there's a huge shortage of teachers and other job people and jobs in America right now. So thank you for all of you who are working. Thank you for all of you who are doing your very best, whether it's in schools or our community, in whatever aspect of the jobs that you do. Thank you very much for doing that, because we can't do it without you. Evaluation, we do evaluate the things at the end of the year, throughout the year, and we use questionnaires, surveys, meetings, committees to figure out if what we're doing in schools when it comes to academics and learning, especially for kids who are struggling, is it really the best thing for them? And sometimes, we do our very best. And so it's important that kids come to school with a good attitude to learn, so that way we can help them be successful in life. This next part just tells the information of the different federal programs that we have, that we incorporate. All these numbers over here just mean laws that they're attributed to, but the funds that we get help with economically disadvantaged students, migrant students, teacher quality, English language learners, students who struggle with the English language. Again, more economically disadvantaged students, career and technology, because we're in a rural area, rural education. There are some monies that we did get for COVID-19. There's also some monies from the state called State Compensatory Ed, and that's for at-risk students. There's special education and preschool as well. The majority of our funds provides for extra staffing in the district so we can lower our class sizes. We know that the biggest impact for students' lives in the classroom is the teacher. So if we can have less or a better student-to-teacher ratio, the better it is for kids, the better it is for teachers. And so that's what we try to do to target, because we know that our teachers are doing their very best, and they are key to helping kids learn and do better in school. So that's what our target is when we talk about where this money impacts the most. In Title I, Part A, the whole idea is to target economically disadvantaged students, and we try to do it with the entire educational program, the entire school district. And we have to target the lowest achieving students. We use effective methods and instructional strategies to help them be better equipped. And every year we have training throughout the year on many different things, and a lot of it is academics on how we help our children and young adults succeed in school so they can be successful in life and whatever they decide to do, whether it's going to college, going to technical school, or just going in the general workforce or the military. Whatever they decide to do, there's skills that they can all be taught that we can help them with in our schools. There's migrant. Again, migrant targets the temporary seasonal work of workers. We do have some of those students that are migrant students. And so the whole idea is that they don't fall through the cracks, and that we do our very best for them so they can succeed in transitioning into successfully graduating high school and beyond. There is also supporting effective instruction which is supporting educators. So if educators are doing well, we can hope that it goes down to the students so that they can do well. So that is supporting effective instruction is another part of the Title federal programs, Title II Part A. Then we have Title III, which is the English language learners. That money that we get, it's not a lot, but we use it to help facilitate our English language learners and providing different trainings that we can help with teachers so that they can help convey to students how to learn the very best when when English is a issue for them because they're just not learning it because they weren't exposed to it. So we also do that as well. And the whole idea is to improve STAR scores because that's the name of the game that we play, and we play that game. Then we support student support and academic enrichment. Again, that is this, again, supplementing our funds to help teachers be better so that they can help students be better as well. And that we can provide students with a well-rounded education. Again, there's an issue of supplementing and supplant. Supplementing means we supplement by enhancing what we already have. The whole idea is not to supplant and say, hey, for example, we can't say we were going to hire this teacher and this teacher. We're going to have to hire them anyway, but we use the money to supplement what we're already doing to make things better. So that's what we have to do. There is a Title V Part B, which means this just says, hey, you guys are in a rural, Fort Stockton is in a rural area. And because of that, we just want to make sure they have students in our rural area have every educational opportunity possible with the resources that we have. And so that is why we receive some of that money as well. Then there's state compensatory ed. That's a long name for saying, how do we help kids who are at risk from dropping out of school? And so that comes from, there's 14 indicators of which students are at risk. And those are students who failed a grade. Those are students who didn't pass or didn't pass certain classes in these grades. Those who did not do well on the STAR test. Those who may not have did well on a readiness test in grades 1, 2, and 3. If a student is pregnant or as a parent, if they're in an alternative education program such as DAP, if they've been expelled, if they've gotten in trouble with the law of any sort, if they've dropped out of school, if they struggle with the English language, if they are taken into custody by CPS, Department of Family and Protective Services, if they're in the juvenile court, if they're homeless as defined by the law, if they are in a residential placement facility, and or if they've been incarcerated or have a parent who is in jail as well. So those are the things that we know that the state says these are students who are considered at risk, and we have to make sure that we do our very best to help them so they don't fall through the cracks. And we try to do that again. The majority, we know that teachers are the best thing for kids when it comes to educating them. And so with that being said, we try to get as many teachers in our buildings with the least amount of kids so they can have a better teacher to student ratio so they can build relationships and help students learn. This next part is the Perkins CLNA supplemental report. This next report is going into the current technology. So I'm going to look at this other screen over here because those words are a little too small for me. But there's indicators here. These indicators come from the state of Texas, and it says that we're being graded on all these things here for your graduation rate, all the way down to the program quality of CTE completers. This is the statewide average, and this is the district and Fort Stockton ISD average. For example, our CTE current technology students, they have a graduation rate of 99%, with a statewide average is 97. And then the extended year graduation rate, again, that is just saying like we keep track of students even after they graduate. Like for example, they may graduate after they're supposed to, because sometimes it takes maybe a year or two or a semester or two for students to graduate after they were supposed to. So we have a 97% rate. That state has 98. Then we have academic proficiency in reading and math. Those are the end of course exams, which we're a little low in compared to the state, as well as in science. And then here's a post-program placement. That just basically means if you have students in a career and technology program, do they do something with it after they are in a program? And that's kind of hard to measure, but believe it or not, the state does measure that and then give us a report based upon the findings that they find. And so they show that we are 74% as far as doing that, replacing students in a program out, or for them to continue something they were doing in high school that is career and technology oriented or college oriented as well. And so then there's non-traditional program concentration. We're at 59%, and the statewide is 47%. What that is, it says are girls in metals and wood shop classes, and our boys, are they in the what we back in the day we called home economics, but it's called family consumer science classes. And so, believe it or not, we get measured on that. And so we have to sometimes encourage students, hey, make sure that this may be something you might want to do. And so it helps to maybe make things a little bit more equitable when it comes to girls and boys. And so that's what that is grading us on. And then if students attained a recognized program of quality or a CTE completer, which means do they get like a certificate after completing the certain things that they do in school. Believe it or not, now, back in the day, there wasn't really a whole lot of goals for students to get some type of industry-based certification, but now there is, whether it's a CNA or an auto tech certification or something like that. There's many of them out there. And so a lot of times we have to concentrate on that now because that's what the schools get measured on. The reason why they get measured on that, because they want kids to be able to say they're ready in the job world to go out and do certain things with those certificates that they gain while they're in school. This is the same information that is here. It's just in a format of a graph. And so that is there. It's the same if you want to look at it, and it is exactly the same. So thank you for looking at that. This here is just comparing performance of CTE learners, current technology learners, to non-CTE learners. And if you notice, in our district, the current technology students do a lot better when it comes to certain measures that they're measured against students who are not in current technology classes. So that's one good thing that we know, that those students are well-rounded students and they're doing very well in the current technology classes as well in their academics. This is labor market alignment, which tells us where our students are at when it comes to the current technology classes that they're in the high school at this time. So if you notice, 78 of our kids were in the business, marketing, and finance, 43% were in health science, 40 were in human services, architecture, and construction, 25 kids, 21%, 21, I keep saying percent, I'm so sorry, 21 students in hospitality and tourism. You go on and on and on. We have about 4 students in law and public service and 5 students in education and training. The reason why I say those two is because those are teachers and police officers, which I know they're not the most glorious jobs to be in, but I will tell you they're probably very well needed in many communities across Texas and our nation, including Fort Stockton. So if you're out there, we encourage you to think about those things. This next website I'm going to show you is the Texas Workforce Commission. The reason why I wanted to show you this is there's some data here on the Workforce Commission. If you click right here, if you go to this website and you click right here, if you've never gone to the Workforce Commission's website, it is an amazing website with a lot of information to help anybody really who is looking for a job or wants to expand their job knowledge or anything they want to do to help improve themselves and their livelihood. So I am going to show you this website. It looks like this. All right. There is a job seekers and employers. I'm going to have to put on my reading glasses because that's kind of small. All right, for me to read. And there is a website here. If you go to job seekers and employers, and then you go to career exploration and trends, there's information here as well as, let's say, maybe here. Training and education. All right. There is a lot of information here where we have to talk about the market, what people want in our community in West Texas as far as jobs. What are the jobs out there that people are looking for? There is information here. This information is the information that we can show people the most needed jobs in our area. This green here means that the growth rate, which is high growth rate, but the pay for these individuals isn't really the best. So it's hospitality, tourism, fast food, and counter workers. There's a high demand for them, although pay is not great, but we know there's going to be like 2,000 jobs in West Texas looking for that in the next 10 years. There is a 3% growth rate for transportation logistics, which is heavy trailer and truck drivers. The pay is really well, and we're going to need about 1,450 people within Permian Basin for that job. You can go on and on and on. There's waiters and cashiers, oil people, oil office clerks, general operations in the ag world, general operations in business, cooks, first line supervisors, maids, housekeeping, stalkers, janitors and cleaners, except maids and housekeeping, construction. It goes on and on and on. People are like, someone asked me, well, where are the teachers at? Well, this report does show teachers, but it shows them in a weird way. It divides them up into elementary teachers, substitute teachers, secondary teachers, middle school teachers, tutors, preschool teachers, kindergarten. If you notice, within the next 10 years, we're going to need about 800 more of these people in our area. I'm going to say it's more than that because of the growth of the individuals in the Permian Basin. So that information is there, which is on the Workforce Commission's website. This here just shows, let me go back to the slideshow. We are in the District 11 when it comes to the Texas Permian Basin Workforce Development labor market information. And so you can click on there on this website, and you can go and get some more information about the Workforce Commission. This is the career technology survey that we're asking people to fill out. This information, I just want to tell you guys that if you have any questions about something that's going on your campus, the best way to go is to call them at one of these numbers here. And then this is of course, there's Alamo School, Apache, Intermediate, Middle School, High School, with different numbers there. I do know that we're having some issue with our phone numbers because they're changing over some of the lines from how they were. So if you try to call, doesn't get through, call another school and say, hey, I'm trying to get information, or call the school, nobody's answering. Can you possibly see if you can help me out with that? We can help you out with that, okay? You can always call the campus principals. They are responsible for a lot of things. And so the best thing for you to do, if you have any questions, is to call the campus principal. That information is there. We have Roy Alvarado at the high school, Sammy Solis at the middle school, Julian Castillo at the intermediate, Linda Chavez at Alamo, and Karina Pacheco at the Apache school. Mr. Alvarado will be replaced with Mr. Wallace. Mr. Alvarado is not leaving us. He is just taking a job as an assistant superintendent in the school district. So, but right now he is in place until Mr. Wallace reports to his duties as the high school principal. With that being said, I believe that is everything. I'm going to go over to the Padlet and see if there's any questions that somebody may have asked. There is a question here. It says, hi, I'm really concerned about the safety for my children in schools here in Fort Stockton. As we know, all the shooting around the state, we have community devastation and really concerned how we can secure our schools. I really appreciate if we can get some responses in regards to school security and prevention plans for the kids' safety. I will tell you, the safety of our kids, just like every parent, we are the same way. We are parents, we are grandparents, we are uncles, we are aunts. We are concerned as well. My kids go to school here, just like a lot of other kids, parents, teachers, school people whose kids go to school here. We are very concerned as well. There's a lot of things that we already have in place. And every year, twice a year, 3 times a year, we meet as a safety committee, and there's a lot of things that go on. I will tell you that we have emergency operations in place. We don't like to share those things out because it's basically a blueprint to be able to do the most amount of damage in schools. And so we use that information to help protect our students. There's a lot of things in place within our emergency operations plans that we just don't discuss. There's a lot of training that goes on throughout the year on how we handle things. There's a lot of things such as tabletop exercises where, what do you do if there is an altercation somewhere and somebody's upset? Something that's not normal that we normally deal with in schools, but there's a lot of things in place. I'm just going to go over a couple of slides here from our Safety and Security Committee meeting. The last one we had was in December. We're going to have another one, I think, in a week or two with our members. And so I want to show you some of the things that we do. We have mandatory drills. We have lockdown. We went to a unified system of locking down schools. And so we came up with some information from the Texas School Safety Center, professionals in the world of school safety here in Texas. And so we use a lot of their resources to help us to keep kids safe in the schools. There is information there. I guess I can go through a slideshow here, starting right here. There's information on, how do we handle things in our buildings? How do we handle things that could be a little rough to talk about at times? There's different things that the teachers go over. I wanted to go to there's a lot of training that our staff has to do. Mental health and substance abuse, awareness and prevention of sexual abuse, identifying and reporting sexual abuse, traumatic injury response, which is stop the bleed, cybersecurity, school reopening, COVID-19. This mental health and substance abuse is one that we do have to address every year. The trainings that we also have are school attorney, slips, trips, and falls, suicide, dating, violence, school emergencies, child abuse, communication, de-escalation, disruptive student behavior, sexual harassment, health emergency, bullying, youth suicide, on and on and on different trainings that our staff has to go through every year. Tabletop exercises, again, those are key in the fact that we basically practice scenarios at a table, discussing them with staff, and we go over things to see if we're really doing things and thinking about a lot of things within our certain schools. We have a lot of safety measures in place. We have emergency operation plans, which has maps and reunification, and we have school resource officers. We have mass communications within our buildings, drum blast. We have a 911 texting to emergency services. We have Code Red with the city, now HyperReach. We have CopSync, which is another great aspect where every teacher can hit a button, and at that point, every police officer within our area knows what's going on and every school person in Fort Stockton can see what's going on as far as a chat that we can talk and figure out what's going on and communicate. We know in times when there are situations in schools, communication is vital, and CopSync links everybody together to have a conversation to see what's going on. We have safety audits as well. We just had a safety audit from Region 18 and the Texas School Safety Center this past year, and we'll be waiting for their reports on how they see things here in our schools. We use resources from the Texas School Safety Center, going back to reunification, how we do that. We have different memorandums of understanding so that we can use certain buildings if we have to get kids off campus and back to a campus. We have school and safety audits. We have secure doors in our campuses. We have cameras. We have online anonymous bulletin reports. We also are part of the iWatch Texas app. If anybody gets that app, they can report anything they want in reference to the safety of our kids in our schools and let us know what's going on. It goes to the law enforcement agencies. It goes to our school. We also have social media accounts that people will let us know what's going on. We have a visitor system check. Our schools are always open to law enforcement. Every law enforcement agent, Border Patrol, you name it, is welcome to our schools to do walkthroughs. DPS, deputies, the sheriff, the police chief, everybody who is a law enforcement agent is more than welcome to walk our halls anytime, however they want, whenever they want, just to be their presence in the building alone. We also give free breakfast and lunch to those law enforcement agencies. So if you are hungry and you're a police officer or a deputy or trooper and you want to come and eat with kids, more power to you, and we'll pay for your lunch. Our cafeteria ladies do an amazing job of making great lunches, and so we have that as well. We also contract with a dog search company. We've improved lighting and parking, and we have a positive law enforcement interaction. We work well with the city of Fort Stockton PD, the deputies, and Mr. Jones at the sergeant here, Mr. Lasoya, the Texas Ranger, as well as the police chief, Mr. Lujan, and all the police officers. And so we work with all the law enforcement agencies to help build a better situation for our schools and to keep our schools safe. I will tell you that we have tested out CopSync, and within minutes, we have officers, deputies, Border Patrol agents, troopers at our schools whenever we test the CopSync informational chat box to notify if there is an emergency in our schools. That is just about COVID-19, which is part of the emergency operation plan. There's nothing else I need to talk about. I'm pretty sure that is what I guess this person was asking for. So hopefully I answered a few of your questions. I will tell you that for us, For us, student safety is of the utmost important thing that we can do. And I know it seems that there's a lot of things that you may not know are in place, but I will tell you, we have to have emergency operations in place and plans in place and what we do in this situation, how we handle that situation. We don't like to show those things out to the world because it's just not the best thing to keep. It's the best to keep that stuff safe, and so that way we don't put things out there that may not be the best for somebody if it fell into the wrong hands. So we do our very best to keep our students safe, as I was saying. Um, our hearts and prayers go out to the families in Uvalde and anyone else prior to that for all the things that happen. We just don't know why, and it's unfortunate. We can just keep them in their prayers and our thoughts. And so, with that being said, I am done. I don't see any more questions. With that being said, you guys have a good night. Thank you for spending about 36 minutes of your afternoon with me on a Thursday afternoon. You guys be safe, take care, and I will see you on Saturday, same time, same place. No, 10 a.m. Saturday morning. Thank you, and have a good evening.